Ticket Sweepstakes. It's on right now on the Prize Picks app. And this could get you and a +1. So you and your guest are going VIP style to the ship, okay? The ship, as in the championship. Download the Prize Picks app. Use my code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y. Make a $5 play, get a $50 bonus. Prize Picks, run your game.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station. 710 ESPN. The radio home of the purple and gold. And the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
What is up, Laker fans? Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, ESPN LA 710. We are going to be here from 6 o'clock to 8 tonight, or until the phones and the station all entirely cut out tonight, whichever comes first. It's my understanding it has been quite the bleep show going on today, between all the tech issues going on. I think I'm on YouTube. I mean, I see the guys in back. They're giving me the thumbs up that for the time being, I am on YouTube, so please be leaving comments in the comments section. I am looking. We're going to be efforting to bring two excellent guests today, assuming that the phones cooperate. At 6:30, we're going to talk with Claire DeLoon, who covers the Lakers and the NBA at large for The Guardian. Very active, very popular NBA Twitter presence. You can follow her at Claire MPLS. She also records music under the Nom de Plume Tiny Deaths. So she is going to be joining at 6:30, and then at 7:15, Edwin Garcia, who covers the Lakers for Silver Screen and Roll. Excellent Lakers analysis. He is a regular at practices, a regular at games, so going to get his perspective on how we got here and what comes next. Also going to be trying to take your calls. I cannot promise we will be taking your calls, but I'm going to try to take your calls. As always, 877-710-ESPN. Also, one of the things that when you call in, assuming the phones cooperate, and you want to get into whatever with me during the show, with Funchi, with DeAndre, something I've noticed, I put out a tweet after the Knicks advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're going to be taking on the Pacers. It is like 1999 all over again. We got Reggie versus Spike. It's actually pretty awesome.
That's right, 1999.
In the last year of the NBA on TNT, we got ourselves an old school classic. Spike Lee is currently at Cannes right now. His new film, Highest to Lowest, with Denzel Washington and A$AP Rocky, Wendell Pierce. It just debuted at Cannes. It's supposed to be great, by the way. The buzz on it has been very good. But you know Denzel's going to come back Spike is going to come back from France to see his beloved Knicks
to watch like an 80-79 game or something like that.
You know he and Reggie are going to go back and forth. That's going to be a lot of fun. But I sent out a tweet with a photo of Josh Hart with blood trickling down his face from, I want to say it was either game 5. It was the second to last game of the series. And he had this collision and had blood running all down his face. And I tweeted out that photo with the caption that Josh Hart quite literally gave his blood, sweat, and tears in order for the Knicks to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And it unexpectedly prompted a ton of nostalgia from our followers over on Twitter at Cam Brothers, because Josh Hart is one of the baby Lakers from back in the day, the era with the kids. He's in the Eastern Conference Finals. Julius Randle, another member of the kids, he's now in the Western Conference Finals, part of the Timberwolves team that took out the Lakers in the first round. And then Alex Caruso, who sort of like a quasi-kid, sort of a quasi-member of the baby Lakers. You know, he was a G League call-up with the team for a couple years before eventually getting a full contract. It's kind of like the way Robert Downey Jr. was like a quasi-member of the Brat Pack. He was sort of tangentially connected to the Brat Pack.
He was in those movies.
He was in a couple of the movies, but he was not Andrew McCarthy. He was not Demi Moore. He was not
Emilio
Molly Ringwald. He was not Emilio. He was not Judd Nelson. He was not like a core member of the Brat Pack. Rob Lowe. But he was tangentially connected to the Brat Pack. Alex Caruso is kind of tangentially connected to the Baby Lakers. Even Thomas Bryant is, I guess, sort of a quasi 4 degrees removed member of the Baby Lakers. But he was nonetheless a part of that crew, and he is now with the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I got a lot of nostalgia that I did not expect kind of churned up about the Baby Lakers and that time in general, nostalgia. So when you call in, again, assuming the phones cooperate, 877-710-ESPN, feel free to name me the Baby Laker that you would love to see back with this team. Could be Randall or Hart or Caruso. It could be Brandon Ingram. It could be Josh Hart. It could be Larry Nance Jr., Ivica Zubats. Hell, it could be a third go-around with D'Angelo Russell. Like, just the Jordan Clarkson.
How about this guy?
I'm undefeated, never lost.
Could be Lonzo Ball.
That's right.
Could be Lonzo Ball. Just name me Kyle Kuzma. Name me a Baby Laker that you would like to see back with this team if you call in for whatever other reason. You don't need to call in about Baby Lakers, but just if you want to name the Baby Laker, because, again, we're kind of getting nostalgic these days. Going to start this show with a little bit of Austin Reeves talk. Last week, you may recall, we talked about there's been a lot of chatter about the Lakers needing to trade Austin Reeves. Will they trade Austin Reeves? Bill Simmons predicted on his podcast at The Ringer that the Lakers will trade Austin Reeves. Bill Plaschke wrote a piece for the LA Times about why the Lakers need to trade Austin. Painful as that might be for a lot of fans, for the franchise, like, they need to upgrade their core, and Austin Reeves is arguably the best trade piece that they have. Then Dan Wojcicki, in his LA Times newsletter, had a piece that addressed Bill's column, but also laid out some of the standards that would be required internally to trade Austin Reeves by the Lakers. The Lakers really do not want to trade Reeves unless they feel like they have to, or just the deal comes along that they can't turn down. But one of the things from Bill's piece that I thought was, from Dan's piece that I thought was really interesting, Dan Wojcicki's piece, talking about Austin Reeves, he says he's not viewed as untradeable because almost no one in the NBA is untradeable. And by untradeable, I think Dan means untouchable, like off the table, as opposed to untradeable, like a hard guy to trade. Like Paul George, I imagine right now, is more of that type of untradeable. But he says, quote, if the Lakers are going to trade Reeves for a center, they're going to want to trade for one that is foundationally important, a build-around type, and not a fill-in towards the obvious need they have at center and will need to address in other ways. If one of the best centers in the NBA were available, the conversations might be different. But at least for now, the first part of the offseason, that isn't the case. And to be clear, I don't think Dan meant that Austin would only be traded for a center, but center is obviously the biggest, most pressing need for the Lakers. And, you know, they entered the playoffs with, in J.J. Redick's eyes, only one playable center, and they exited the playoffs with none. So I started thinking about this question of Reeves and center through the lens of the way Dan Wojcicki framed this. And I started thinking about the idea of who actually are the centers in the league that would qualify for these standards, who could even theoretically be available to trade for Austin Reeves, who would be worthy of Reeves. So I took a look at basically all the centers around the league, and then I divided them up into three categories. First category is superstar centers. Like, unless you are talking about getting a superstar in return or a king's ransom of treasures or that player demands a trade, that team isn't trading their center. Like, you can think of some of the guys, I'll go through them all, but I'm sure you can think of some of these guys that qualify, like just the centers that the other team is going to say, why are you calling me? We're not trading this guy. Then there's the next category, which is some very good centers that I don't necessarily think are going to move, but I can at least picture them potentially moving for a variety of reasons. The team is kind of at a crossroads. They may need to break up a core, like money, stuff like that, where they may not want to because the center's good, but they may feel like they need to. And then the third category is the others, basically just all the rest of the centers around the league, like basically all of them. So through that lens, thinking about the guys that are basically off the table entirely, then there's they might move. I don't picture it happening, but they could possibly move. And then the others. Coming up next, I want to break down Austin's trade. I don't even want to say trade value, but more just the idea of would you trade Austin for this center? Because I think this thought exercise actually is a very informative way of figuring out the Lakers' options, even if they were more willing to trade Austin, even if they are more willing to use Austin in a deal for a center. How many options does that actually open up for the Lakers? So I'm going to talk about that next, break down these categories. Again, 877-710-ESPN. Hopefully we're going to talk with Claire DeLoon at 6:30. Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll at 7:15. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Travis. Join us Friday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to noon at Legends Attic in Claremont as we celebrate their one-year anniversary and kick off the Freddie Freeman World Series Game 1 Walk-Off Grand Slam Ball Tour. Plus, Oral Hershiser hosting special guests, Dodgers voice Joe Davis, Steve Sachs, Rick Monday, Jaime Harin, Peter O'Malley, and more. Giveaways in the amazing art of Dave Hobrick. Purchase your tickets for meet and greets at legendsattic.com. We'll see you Friday, May 30th at Legends Attic in Claremont.
Have you checked out the all-new Park West Bicycle Casino? With a new owner, fresh renovations, and upgraded amenities, it's a whole new way to experience LA's premier table game casino. From poker, blackjack, ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Baccarat, they've got all the action for ESPN LA listeners. Brand new players who sign up for their Players Reward get $30 in match play. Just say, Cappy sent me to get $30 in match play. Park West Bicycle Casino.
Please gamble responsibly. Problemgambling.ca.gov. 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGR.001291. GEAR.001298. BSIS license number 1358.
Hey guys, it's Sedano here. My friends at Children's Dental Fun Zone is the one-stop shop specializing in children's dentistry and orthodontics for over 23 years. From routine care, braces, and aligners to orthodontic planning, Children's Dental Fun Zone accepts Medi-Cal, PPO, and HMO insurance plans. For a free consultation, visit their website, cdfzone.com, or call them at 833-586-7898. And let them know that Sedano and ESPN LA sent you. Children's Dental Fun Zone. Sparkling smiles, happy kids.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
All the latest surrounding the Lake Show, right here on Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. Again, we are dealing with some tech issues really throughout the entire day, and I'm sure a lot of the folks listening throughout the day have noticed we've been having some phone issues, so it may get in the way of both you all calling in, 877-710-ESPN, give it a go, but also could get in the way of talking with Claire DeLoon and Edwin Garcia over the course of the show. But we're going to do our best. I mentioned before that there was a piece from Dan Wojcicki in the LA Times breaking down what it would take for the Lakers to trade Austin Reeves, because he is both a wide topic of conversation right now, not a great playoffs, potentially the best chip that the Lakers have to try to upgrade the roster around Luka and presumably LeBron this coming season. The Lakers have a pressing need in particular at center. And Dan's piece laid out how they were looking for, if they're going to trade Austin for a center, it needs to be, quote, a foundational type center. And it just got me thinking about Austin's value viewed through the lens of centers. And who could be the centers that the Lakers would even consider trading Austin for? So for this thought exercise, I've grouped centers into a few different categories. And also, because I'm going to involve DeAndre and Funchie, we're going to go through these. For these purposes, I'm not even getting into the weeds of whether the other team would trade their center for Austin or CBA, what it would take to make the deal work, the money, contracts, yada, yada, yada. For these purposes, it's just, would you trade Austin for this center? Would you consider trading Austin for this center? Forget about what the other team would do. Here are the first grouping of centers that I consider basically off the table, not just for Austin, but just period, unless you are offering a king's ransom or a legit superstar in return. These centers are off the table in all likelihood. Nikola Jokic, Wemby, Alperen Şengün, I think Miles Turner, given what the Pacers are doing right now, Jalen Duren in Detroit, Alex Sarr, Onyeka Okongwu in Atlanta. He's pretty good, and he's already started supplanting Clint Capella over in Atlanta. He's very young. I think he's a good rebuilding piece. I don't know if he is off the table, but I imagine he's pretty close.
Need a Godfather offer for that.
Right. He's very good, very young. I don't picture Atlanta moving him. Isaiah Hartenstein, the way he's playing right now in OKC, the way I think he actually frees up a lot for Chet Holmgren.
He's probably already outperformed his contract, too.
Right, exactly. I don't picture him being available. And then I'm shocked that I'm saying this, but 2 Western Conference Finals in a row is 2 Western Conference Finals in a row. I don't think the Wolves are looking to move Rudy Gobert.
Hell no.
They're not. Am I right? It's weird.
You're right. You're right.
Weird to say.
Unless they get 4 first-round picks in return.
Exactly. But the way things have been going, for all the crap they took after that trade, they're now in 2 straight Western Conferences finals. So those names that I listed, Jokic, Wemby, Şengün, Miles Turner, Jalen Duren, Sarr, Okongwu, Hartenstein, Gobert, I consider them more or less off the table. Anybody you disagree?
Yeah, I think they're off the table. I was going to say something about Jalen Duren, but I think he's
pretty good.
He's young and
off the table, but I don't know much about Alex Sarr. I haven't really heard much about him as far as how good of a talent he is or what he can do. I mean,
you don't think the Wizards would, I don't give up on him after 1 year. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if they were to try to, for instance, this is all about if we would package a deal with Austin Reeves for something. I don't think I would do something like that for Alex Sarr.
Now, these from here, this is category number 2. These are the best names or biggest names that I could picture on the move for some reason, whether because their team is at kind of a crossroads, they've got salary cap issues, they need to move in another direction, all that sort of stuff. These are names that I consider at least possibly on the move. You tell me if you would consider moving Austin for these centers. Jaren Jackson Jr. I would at minimum consider it.
In a heartbeat.
At minimum consider it. Bam Adebayo.
Yes, I think I would. I do it. I think I'd do it.
I would at minimum consider it. Ivica Zubac. Done. Done.
Now you're having me think a little bit.
He's
just
good.
He's good. He's good. Yes, but
would you at least consider it?
I consider it, of course.
Yes. Okay, so we've got Triple J, Bam, Zubac. Are at minimum you would consider it. Jared Allen in Cleveland.
Yes.
I would at least consider it.
Yeah, considered.
Walker Kessler in Utah.
I wouldn't do it.
You would not do it.
I would not do it now.
What else am I getting in return?
I don't remember. We're not getting the weeds.
Okay,
with
yes,
that.
we're just going straight up.
We're just Austin is
1-1.
the centerpiece of a trade for Walker Kessler. Would you consider it?
No.
Okay, Kessler's off the list. Domantas Sabonis.
Yes.
In a heartbeat.
I'm inclined to say no just because I think he's a weird center to kind of have your team, pun unintended, centered around. But he's a very talented, kind of weird player.
What's weird about him?
Because he's like a center that doesn't – he's kind of like a center that doesn't do center things, but he doesn't do modern four things. He's just like a really talented, weird duck. But I will put Sabonis on the – I'm outvoted 2-1. So Sabonis is on the list. Joel Embiid, I'm a hard no. His contract is insane.
Yeah, the upside.
$240 million over the next 4 seasons.
I thought we were getting into the weeds of things.
I know.
Okay.
I mean, player for player, straight up. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say Joel Embiid, yeah. But I mean.
Am I getting outvoted here? 2-1? You guys tell me.
Joel Embiid is a talent. When healthy. That's the only thing. When healthy. But if it was like I would. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm outvoted here. 2-1. So here's the list we have so far. Jaren Jackson Jr., Bam Adebayo, Ivica Zubac, Jared Allen, Domantas Sabonis, Joel Embiid. These are, again, not even getting into the whole would the other team do it. Just you would, at minimum, consider trading Austin for these guys. Now we're going to move into the category I consider the rest. Just everyone else. Draymond Green, no.
No.
LeBron would do it.
Well, LeBron's not part of this council. The council's you, me, and DeAndre.
I wouldn't do it, though.
No, that's a no. Nikola Vucevic, no.
Why not? He's pretty. I mean, I don't know. How old is he right now?
He's probably like 30 or 31.
Okay, never mind. I thought he was younger. I thought he was like 28, 27.
Look it up, but I mean, he's been in the league a while, man.
He has been. He has
been.
He
had like 3 or 4 years in Orlando alone. He's been in the league a minute. I'm a no. Jonas Valanciunas, no.
No. You can get him without doing anything.
Vucevic, by the way, is 34.
He's 34, Funchy. No. That's not, you agree? You're voting for Funchy. He's a no.
He's a no, yes.
He's a no. Hell no. Nick Claxton, no. You should be able to get Nick Claxton without Austin, in my opinion. You should be able to get him without Austin.
I don't know. Just without Austin, I don't know, because I don't know if the Brooklyn Nets would consider that.
I don't even know if Brooklyn needs Austin for a rebuild. He's arguably too old for them.
Yeah, he technically is too old for them. I mean, Nick Claxton, if we're just saying, if you could do a deal without him, Nick Claxton is a talent defensively.
Oh, I think they should pursue Claxton.
I'm just
saying I don't think they should have to include Austin to get him.
I do agree with that.
So Claxton for me is a no, even though I think they should pursue him. Wendell Carter Jr. or Goga over in Orlando.
No.
I like them as pursuits. I just think you should be able to get
they're
them
not good. They're not good
you should be able to get them without Austin.
Exactly.
I think the Lakers should be inquiring about both Goga Patazzi and Wendell Carter
Yes,
Jr.
I think they should be too.
But I don't think you should need to include Austin for that.
No.
DeAndre Ayton, no.
Hell no.
Jakob Poeltl, no.
No.
Okay. Daniel Gafford. Again, you should not have to include, in my opinion, Austin to get Daniel Gafford.
I like Gafford. I like
him too, but I don't think you should have to include Austin.
You don't have to include Austin.
Although maybe now with Dallas, you might have to.
You might have to now. Yeah. I like Gafford though. He's a talent.
I do too, but I don't think you should have to include. That's my thing. I don't think you should have to include Austin to get Gafford. I don't think Austin is worth Gafford, or I don't think Gafford's worth Austin.
I agree.
Okay. Yves Missi in New Orleans.
Nah.
No, you know what's funny about him? I'm inclined to say no, but he feels like a guy that in a couple of years I might say, I wish I had.
Yeah, exactly. He's not bad. And he had to step up a lot, obviously, with the center position being not there.
He's bouncy. Nick Richards in Phoenix. No.
Nah.
And then the last one, which is funny because the only way it's happening is if they include Austin, just because there's going to be pissed off feelings. Mark Williams in Charlotte. The answer is no.
You're joking, right?
Look, if they went back to that well after everything that happened, you're damn right Charlotte's saying you're including Austin. Just out of spite.
No.
No. Of course the answer is no. So here's who we have as the list of even sort of believably, if not probably, available centers that we agree we would at least consider moving for Austin Reeves. Jaren Jackson Jr., Bam Adebayo, Ivica Zubac, Jared Allen, Domantas Sabonis. I was outvoted, Joel Embiid. That's 6 guys, and we're not even in consensus that any of them will be available.
Exactly.
And that, to me, is what is fascinating about the whole Reeves thing and what Dan Wojcicki wrote about for the LA Times. Like, that standard that appears to be there for Austin Reeves and a center may be high enough that in a lot of ways it prevents them from moving Austin in the first place, which in a lot of ways is what I feel like they want to do anyway. I think they want to keep Austin, and there's a part of me that wonders, DeAndre, are they actually kind of manufacturing a standard that kind of fulfills a prophecy and keeps Austin in LA?
I mean, he spoke up about it already. I mean, in the X interview, that he believes in the 3 of them. He believes in LeBron. He believes in Luka Doncic. He believes in Austin Reeves. He believes that's their big 3. He feels very comfortable that they can put a good team around them to contend for a championship. So obviously, I mean, with that being said, I don't think they'll be to the point where they won't listen. If teams are like,
they should listen. You should take every
always,
call.
always listen. I always said you should listen and take every call and see what they have to offer, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have to take it.
Oh, sorry. I had a couple people talking in my earphones for just a second. Good news, people. Very good news. The phones appear to be working. So after we talk with the great Claire DeLoon in about 5 minutes, we'll be taking your calls. 877-710-ESPN. If you're holding now, hang in there. We'll get to you. Appreciate your patience. Coming up next, Claire DeLoon from The Guardian. Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Join us. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
Hey guys, double down with me in my first ever $10,000 blackjack tournament. It's going to happen on June 6th at the Bicycle Casino. You know it, the Park West Bicycle Casino, 888 Bicycle Casino Drive in Bell Gardens. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a live broadcast from 3 to 6. But when you walk in, I want you to say, double down with Cappy. You go to the Players Reward Desk and you get your free entry into the tournament, which is going to start at 7 o'clock that night. Remember, it's June 6th. Double down with Cappy is going to get you a free entry into the tournament, which you're going to need to get because I'm telling you, this thing's going to fill up real fast. Live radio, real cards, big prizes, very limited seats. So lock yours in now. RSVP for more information for all the details on the tournament at ESPNLA.com.
Your business and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky on 710 ESPN. It's the home of the Lake Show and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Back to Andy Kamenetsky.
Mr. Sock, COT on Twitter at Cam Brothers says, great start, Cam Brothers, AK. That bum Morales will get his tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 9 hours of live imaging Tuesday of mostly people yelling at Morales about this whole phone situation. But they apparently seem to be up. And does that mean we have Claire DeLoon?
We have her.
We have Claire DeLoon joining us, one of my favorites and one of your favorites. She covers the Lakers and the NBA large for The Guardian. You can follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. You should also check out her music that she records under the Nom de Plume stage name Tiny Deaths. Claire, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's cool to be back in Lakers world. I feel like I had a couple weeks hiatus from even really thinking about the Lakers. So
were
cool
you
to get back in.
Were you buried in the NBA, or were you just trying to detoxify from the first round?
Oh no, there's been no detoxifying for me. I've just been I've been deep in basketball world, but I've been just sort of ingrained in the drama of the playoffs and recuperating from, as you know, what was maybe the craziest season covering the Lakers ever.
Yeah, this was pretty bonkers, and I want to get into some of the NBA and the playoffs, non-Lakers, with you. But to begin, the first round exit for the Lakers, how surprising was that for you, if at all? Both in the moment, but also in retrospect, with time to think about it.
I think in the moment it was really surprising just because I had really high hopes, high expectations for this team. I still do think their ceiling was quite high, and I think, in hindsight, the Wolves were just a way worse matchup for them than I anticipated, partially because I underestimated them based on their regular season performance, but also partially because the Wolves really stepped up in a lot of ways in that series. Julius Randle is having his best postseason as an NBA player ever. Anthony Edwards took huge strides as far as a playmaker and decision maker that was evidenced in that series. Their late game execution went from being among the worst in the league all regular season to being really spectacular in that Lakers series. So I think there were a few curveballs, a few things I maybe underestimated. And then, of course, obviously the kind of regression of Jackson Hayes from regular season to playoffs played a role, because them not shoring up that center rotation ended up really coming back to bite them.
Yeah, it's funny, actually. Heading into the series, I had Lakers in 6. I went back and forth between Lakers in 6 and Lakers in 7. And I thought Minneapolis was going to be a tough test for them, and in particular, Minnesota, I should say. I thought was going to be a tough matchup for them. I thought the size would be an interesting test. But basically all of the weaknesses that I thought could be there for the Timberwolves did not shine through. And then every weakness I thought might be there for the Lakers did.
Yeah,
how much grace do you give both the team and the front office, just with the idea that the team was completely reconfigured mid-season and they didn't get every rep that they needed, between the injuries to Luka and to LeBron and Rui, other guys, it may not be quite as difficult as assembling a plane mid-flight, as Rob Pelinka put it, but it is legitimately a challenge.
Yeah, I definitely give them some grace. That was my sort of sadness, I would say, and concern when they made the Luka trade was not obviously that I didn't understand it or support it or think that it was the right move for the future, because I felt all of those things. But as someone who had been covering this team pretty closely, they were just hitting their stride. They had just beat, if people recall, the Knicks in Madison Square Garden without Anthony Davis the night of the trade, and they were on a winning streak, and they seemed like they were really getting it together. And I was bummed to not get to see that team, see what that team could do in a postseason setting. And I think you're seeing guys like Max Christie and Anthony Davis are the kinds of players that are really valuable and a very physical, defensive minded postseason that we're seeing. So So I definitely knew that it was maybe in some ways like mortgaging the 25 season in favor of the future. But I think the where I would hold the front office accountable and where I think that there isn't really an excuse is that they knew that they needed depth at the center position. That was an issue even when Anthony Davis was a Laker and they had one of the best starting centers in the league. They had, very little depth at that position, and that's been true for years. Obviously, that became even more true when AD was traded, and they did, end up making that move for Mark Williams that got rescinded. But if the center you're going for at the deadline is someone that has a history of health problems, like that's not a secret. Everyone knew of his history, maybe not to the extent they found out when they did their kind of individual investigation into it, but everyone knows Mark Williams had an injury-plagued career. You have to have a contingency plan there before the deadline. Like you have to have another center that you're moving for, even if it was like a Day'Ron Sharpe from Brooklyn or somebody like that who's not traditionally looked at as a starting center, but you just have to have someone better than Jackson Hayes, no offense meant to Jackson, as an option. And then beyond that, to not convert either of your centers on a two-way leading into the playoffs, and to keep Alex Len, who as an organization is not going to see the floor in a playoff setting under any circumstances. I think those two things were a bit of malpractice.
Yeah, and I actually directly asked Rob Pelinka about that during exit interviews, and he took a very long pause before providing a non-explanation, which I think speaks a lot to what you are talking about. Talking with Claire DeLoon from The Guardian, covers the Lakers and the NBA. Follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. What are some of the biggest lessons that you think J.J. Redick should learn from his first season coaching, whether from the regular season, the playoffs, both?
I mean, I think he did a phenomenal job in the regular season. I had a vote for the first time this year. I actually had him third on my Coach of the Year ballot.
Look at you.
Thank you. But yeah, I had him third. I thought, especially given his house literally burnt down, in the middle of the season, he had to change the entire identity of his team on the fly. He dealt with so much as a first-time head coach, and thought he did an incredible job. I would say he's probably, that being said, he's probably learned maybe seeding is obviously important, and especially it was important for this team to not have to scratch and claw their way out of the play-in tournament just to make the playoffs. But, I think maybe sort of being more judicious with how hard you go all regular season, that's something I think comes with experience and time, where you don't want to have your main guys burnt out by the time you get to the playoffs. So it's kind of a delicate balance of trying to prioritize seeding while also trying to maintain everyone's energy for the playoffs. And then as far as the playoffs themselves, I'm sure he learned a ton, from that one round. I think the only way to really learn is trial by fire as a coach. And Chris Finch just looked, I wrote about this in my sort of postmortem I did. Chris Finch looked like the veteran head coach. He looked more composed. He looked more calm. He looked like he kind of just had his head on his shoulders a little more. JJ got a little rattled, understandably so. And yeah, I mean, I think the playoffs are just a different animal. So I have full faith. I think he's a great coach.
So do I.
I think he's going to only get better. And I have full faith that experience will make him a much better postseason coach next year.
There's been a lot of thoughts and even some doubts expressed lately, NBA punditry, about the viability of a Luka-Austin core moving forward, just in the sense that a lot of their weaknesses are similar, whether you're talking about defensive concerns, lack of NBA-level athleticism, speed, size, that could be problematic to build around, particularly when Austin goes from one of the best bargains in the league to paid. How much validity do you think there are to those concerns?
I mean, I think Austin, and Luka have shown that they can complement each other really well. I mean, Austin obviously has the capability as a playmaker, which is, a bonus, and it's great to have. But he, spent most of his tenure on the Lakers playing off ball.
Yeah.
And he's very capable at doing that as well. Obviously, I would say average to below average defenders in your backcourt neither of whom are like incredibly athletic. Like, I think that's obviously where you might have a concern, but I think it's more about supplementing them with the right pieces, and emphasizing, defense and athleticism and strength around them, which this roster just does not particularly. And then I would also add, just because to your point, I've heard a lot of people talking about trading Austin this summer. I heard Bill Simmons a couple of days ago saying he's sure he's going to get traded. He would bet money on it, which I think is a little ridiculous. I would do the opposite, quite frankly, for this summer. He's on, to your point, an incredible value contract. He makes like around $12 million a year, I believe. And with the aprons, I don't want to get too in the weeds with how the salary cap works and stuff, but essentially, like, you would have to get back a player that makes essentially like the mid-level for Austin's salary. You're not going to get a better fit next to Luka Doncic for $10 million this summer. I can tell you that. So, because they don't have room to take back more money than they put out. So, I would absolutely wait and re-sign Austin for whatever the market commands for him, which I would imagine is probably going to be at least in the like 30 to 35 million a year range, and then go from there if you decide to rearrange around Luka in like a post-LeBron Lakers era. But for right now, I think they're a perfectly fine fit, and Austin has proven to be a big game player. He had his worst playoff series, I would say, of his Lakers tenure this year, but I wouldn't judge him in totality off that one series.
Talking with Claire DeLoon, covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. Follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. Last question for you. Like I mentioned, you don't just cover the Lakers, you cover the whole league. You are a voter,
Yep.
I should add, which is pretty awesome. It's pretty official. Big deal. We are officially now in the conference final stage of the playoffs. What have been some of the most interesting storylines of these playoffs to you so far?
I mean, I'm from New York originally, so this Knicks renaissance has been so fun. Long-suffering. I feel like there's a lot of long-suffering fan bases getting there.
Well, you went to New York, and then you went to Minneapolis. So, I mean, like, you want to talk about your long-suffering.
I've lived in 2 of the 4 Final Four cities, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, just a lot of, I just kind of love this, like, just long-suffering, miserable fan bases getting to see their teams make deep playoff runs. Like, that's really cool. I do kind of, I feel like an old head saying this, but the kind of golden era of the NBA for me was like the Steph and LeBron meeting in the finals every year. Like, I loved that. So I do kind of miss those sort of like season to season, like long standing storyline battles. But yeah, I mean, I think the Knicks thing has been really fun. I think all 3 of the 4 teams, Oklahoma City obviously being the exception, are teams for whom you really can't judge them based on their regular season. So I don't really know if I like that or not. Like, I haven't quite decided how I feel about how obsolete the regular season feels based on the results of these playoffs. Like, I would say of the 4 last teams standing, Oklahoma City is the only team that even really had like a remarkable regular season. Like, I would say the rest of these teams were average to below average for most of the regular season, and just really, really clicked at the right time, stepped it up at the right time.
She is Claire DeLoon. She covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. You can follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. Listen to her music, Tiny Deaths. You can find it Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you get your music. It's really, really cool stuff. Claire, as always, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was great to talk to you.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you again during the offseason. Got time to kill, Claire. Thank you. All right, when we get back, 877-710-ESPN, you can react to anything Claire said, react to what you wanted to get into before. If you are holding, we will get to you. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Flashy discounts, gimmicky sales? Don't fall for it. At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, we give you honest, wholesale pricing all year long. No bogus markups, no tricks, just the best floors at the best prices. Call 866-62-FLOOR. No sale beats wholesale. Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, check them out at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net or call them at 866-62-FLOOR.
For the best prices on hardwood, carpet, and more, call 866-62-FLOOR.
Why do more people buy their car at the Cerritos Auto Square than from any other location in Southern California? Easy. With 24 dealerships side by side, car shoppers can find the right car at the right price at the right location. Learn more at CerritosAutoSquare.com.
At Children's Hospital Los Angeles.
Hey, it's Travis. Join us Friday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to noon at Legends Attic in Claremont as we celebrate their one-year anniversary and kick off the Freddie Freeman World Series Game 1 Walk-Off Grand Slam Ball Tour. Plus, Oral Hershiser hosting special guests, Dodgers voice Joe Davis, Steve Sachs, Rick Monday, Jaime Harin, Peter O'Malley, and more. Giveaways in the amazing art of Dave Hobrick. Purchase your tickets for meet and greets at legendsattic.com. We'll see you Friday, May 30th at Legends Attic in Claremont.
Just say, Cappy sent me to get $30 in match play. Park West Bicycle Casino.
Please gamble responsibly. Problemgambling.ca.gov. 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGR-001291. GAR-001292. GAR-001298. BSIS license number 1358.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Lakers Talk continues on 710 ESPN.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky right now.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me, mirror, what is wrong?
Into the second hour where we will be talking with Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll. Thanks again to Claire DeLoon from The Guardian for joining us. Let's get through some of your calls. You all have been hanging impatiently while we got this phone situation worked out. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. Let's begin with Johnny in Long Beach. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, AK. Punchy, DeAndre. I got a baby Laker, but before that, hey, DeAndre, Raider Nation will see you in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, come on, man. Be realistic.
I hope the call is better than that, Johnny.
So the baby Laker I want to see is Swaggy P.
Wow. See, now that's funny. I don't consider Swaggy P to be a baby Laker, even though he was sometimes as immature as all the baby Lakers. He was more of an established NBA player when they brought him in and just part of that era. That said, though, and jokes aside about Swaggy P, that dude was fun to cover. And at the time, I know the thing with him and D'Lo went sideways and that drama and whatnot, but it really helped having Nick Young around because
and then it'd be cool like Julius Randle, Anthony Carlos Towns, like they got traded. If they meet in the finals, wild.
Yeah, that I've thought about that. Many people have thought about that. The idea that Cat and Randall going up against each other, those two dudes traded for each other in the rare trade that seems to be working out very well for both sides. Plus, you got Baby Laker versus Baby Laker. You would have Josh Hart versus Julius Randle going up against each other. So a lot of different subplots that Laker fans could get into. Let's go to Jamie in Carson. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Jamie?
Hi, guys. Wanted to throw my 2 cents in about centers.
Sure.
I'm with you. Like, no Embiid. I don't know what you guys are thinking about.
I got outvoted, Jamie. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I got 3 other people I could pull in on our team. We are not going to mortgage the team for Embiid. Too many ifs.
Yeah.
Too many ifs. But the person that I would go all in for is Adebayo. Adebayo, if you remember how he and LeBron played during the Olympics, they are a match.
Yeah.
I go all in for Adebayo because I think that's a match. Match made in heaven. All in.
I appreciate the call there, Jamie. And what's interesting is in this thought exercise that we have when we were going through centers and just the idea of would you trade Austin for center X? Bam was one of the guys that I could at least picture potentially getting moved just because the Heat are in this weird crossroads. They have to do something. They might actually need to do the thing Riley never wants to do, which is blow it up and completely rebuild. The problem could be, theoretically, I don't picture Miami wanting Austin Reeves. Like, if they're doing, like, a full-on rebuild, and
I figured they'd get something better than Austin,
Yeah, I mean, Bam Adebayo, I think consensus is considered a better player than Austin Reeves. And if Miami is going through a rebuild, Austin doesn't really help them. And if they're not going through a rebuild, I'm not sure an Austin Reeves, Tyler Hero backcourt, while that could be very good offensively.
Very fun to watch.
Should be very fun. You're going to have some issues on the other end combined.
Lots of turnovers.
A lot of turnovers. Richard in Ontario. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Richard?
What's up, guys? As far as the baby Lakers, I don't want any of those guys back, to be honest.
Wow. No sentiment from you.
It wasn't a good memory when they were here, and anyhow.
All right.
Anyways, going back to what I was talking about as far as AR, he's our only asset. We have to trade him. There is no other option. He will, once LeBron's gone, he'll be the second option, and he's not even a third option, to be quite honest with you. So we need to kind of rebuild in a way where Luka is going to stay, but he needs to see what we're doing. We got to get a good option, number two, but I don't know who's out there, to be honest with you, that we would trade AR in a first-round pick or something like that.
I appreciate the call there, Richard. I mean, who's going to be available is in and of itself an interesting question. The other part of this that I think makes it tricky for Austin is, even if you disagree with Richard about how good of a player Austin is and you think that he's better than the way Richard was laying him out, and, full disclosure, I think I go back and forth. Regular Lakers Talk listeners will know. I go back and forth on the idea of whether Austin is truly good enough to be the third best player on a legit championship team, much less, in theory, post-LeBron, if he could be the second best player. I kind of think he's somewhere between third and fourth best player, which should be made clear. Still a really good player. If you are like a 3.5 or even a fourth best player on a legit championship team, you're really good. Like, you are a really good player, full stop. But one of the things, though, that makes Austin tricky to trade is after this coming season, he is widely expected to opt out of his contract that is considered one of the best bargains in the league. He is extension eligible this offseason. Nobody expects him to sign an extension, because the way the CBA works, he can make far more money in the 2026 offseason as a free agent than 2025. So unless he just decides, you know what, I want this thing over and done, I don't want to have to be thinking about it for an entire year, there is no logical reason for Austin to sign an extension with the Lakers or anybody else. So that makes him a potential flight risk anywhere he goes. And I'm including, by the way, the Lakers. Like, there is always a chance that Austin, as a free agent, could decide, I might have a better opportunity somewhere else. I might have the opportunity to run more of an offense, to be more of a featured guy. Like, there is a possibility that, forget the other team, that the Lakers could lose Austin. But the fact that he is only likely going to be under contract for one more season and then an unrestricted free agent makes him potentially tricky for the Lakers to commit to long-term, or at least commit to for the rest of the season, but also for another team to trade for. So that in and of itself is going to be interesting. Let's take one more call before we go to break. Pedro in Inglewood, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Pedro?
Hey, what's up, AK? Big-time fan, first-time caller.
Thank you.
I was trying to get through the phone, but Funchy kept fighting me. But anyways.
Wow, Funchy.
You
didn't put up much of a fight, bro. You didn't put up much of a fight anyway.
Listen, Funchy. Bam is listed as 6'9" on the official ESPN app. And you know he's listed at 6'9". He's more like
he's tripping about Bam being 6'9" and the other guys being 7 foot, which is like literally 2 inches.
The Lakers need to get a 7-footer. We're about to enter the Wemby era. If OKC has Holmgren, Minnesota has Gobert.
Hold up, everybody. Wait, listen to his idea.
Now.
Okay. So who's the center? Who's the 7-footer?
The only guy that I could see the Lakers possibly trading for Austin Reeves was, like I told Funchy, was Donovan Clingan.
That's not going to happen.
If the Blazers want to give him up, he's a huge guy. He's a good rebounder. He's a good shot blocker. By the way, Funchy, Bam had less blocks per game than LeBron this season.
Pedro, are you Donovan's cousin?
No, hang on that one. Hold on. Huh?
Are you Donovan's cousin trying to get him to L.A.?
I'm telling you right now, he's 7-2. Or so either the Lakers trade for some kind of like 7-1, 7-2, like second or third year player, or they draft the guy from Duke.
Okay, Pedro, but you want them to trade Austin Reeves for that guy, a one a year, a 2 year player?
Donovan Clingan so fast.
Okay, what about Donovan Clingan do you like, Pedro?
What do you mean? He's 7'2", 280.
Didn't exactly blow up the league this year.
And steal a game, like he's what the modern NBA needs. Like
didn't exactly blow up the NBA this year, did he? Get up. He couldn't be the first center in Portland, huh?
Look, if you trade Austin away, Rui steps right into that role.
Hey, answer that question, though, Pedro. Answer that question. He couldn't be the first center in Portland, huh?
I don't know. Ask Chauncey Billups at that point.
Chauncey Billups actually had a great year.
I don't know what to tell you because I thought the same thing.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. And I appreciate the call there, Pedro.
Love you, Pedro.
Even if you like Donovan Clingan, there is no way the Lakers are going to trade Austin Reeves, who is arguably their best trade chip, for a thus far unproven center.
Never thought.
Had a good Final Four.
Right. They're not going to do that. Like, Donovan Clingan is not an established enough player that you move him for, like, that you take your primary trade piece that is hopefully your long-term fit moving forward with the Luka Doncic era. That is not what you do.
Never thought I heard Donovan Clingan's name.
I'm not going to lie. That one surprised me.
He's good. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good.
I'm not saying Donovan Clingan is terrible. That's not my point. I'm saying you don't trade Austin Reeves for him. Like, even if you think the Lakers need to move on from Austin Reeves, that the Lakers overvalue Austin Reeves, that they overcovet him, that we can get into another part of Dan Wojcicki's report that I found a little bit unsettling. You do not trade Austin Reeves for Donovan Clingan. Like, that is, for the time being, nowhere close to equal value. Coming up, take a few more of your calls, talk a little bit about Giannis, a little bit more about Austin, some playoff lessons, plus Edwin Garcia at 7:15 covers the Lakers to Silver Screen and Roll. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Back tomorrow at 9 a.m. after Clinton and Friends.
I heard some people don't like mouthwash.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, why? See?
It's medicinal.
Well, as somebody who medicinal saved my life, I'm medicinal.
No, it's yeah.
Tastes like
I
medicine?
brush my teeth a lot, multiple times a day, but I do
You
not.
never wash the mouth?
I wouldn't say never, but it's rare.
You
And
don't
I would
Listerine.
suggest- My dentist suggests TheraBreath. It's non-alcohol, and it is much better for your teeth than the alcohol ones.
I don't.
If it doesn't feel like it's burning my gums.
That's what I don't like.
But that's what you don't need.
Oh, really? I like the feeling.
But you can have TheraBreath, which doesn't have any of that,
Scope.
and it's better for you.
I like
I'm a
that
big
feeling.
tongue brusher.
Scope.
You brush your tongue. I've seen people do this, and it,
Yeah, I'll
it
do it
makes
every
me
once in a while.
gag.
Do you have a tongue?
Sometimes it makes me
kinda-
gag.
that's
Yeah.
like- yeah,
You get too far. Okay,
but
yeah.
it's a nice reset to start the day.
I guess so.
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco.
on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Travis. Join us Friday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to noon at Legends Attic in Claremont as we celebrate their one-year anniversary and kick off the Freddie Freeman World Series Game 1 Walk-Off Grand Slam Ball Tour. Plus, Oral Hershiser hosting special guests, Dodgers voice Joe Davis, Steve Sachs, Rick Monday, Jaime Harin, Peter O'Malley, and more. Giveaways in the amazing art of Dave Hobrick. Purchase your tickets for meet and greets at legendsattic.com. We'll see you Friday, May 30th at Legends Attic in Claremont.
Roof stands strong. ESPN LA listeners who call in today to book their free same-day inspection get $5,500 off their roof replacement. Journey Builders also offers financing. Call 888-607-8808 today. That's 888-607-8808 or go to journeybuildersinc.com.
710
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Steve Mason and John Ireland.
Mason and Ireland, tomorrow at noon after Travis and DeMarco.
I was going to say, Mace, it started out that you were the weird one, and I may have out-weirded you at this point.
Yeah, you have gotten weird.
Yeah,
the older you get, the weirder you get.
You know what? The older you get, the less apologetic you get about your quirks.
We all get more weird because we lose our inhibitions.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio. That's Mason and Ireland.
On 710 ESPN.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station. 710 ESPN. The radio home of the purple and gold. And the home of Lakers talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. We are on until 8 p.m. tonight, and we're going to talk with Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll, covers the Lakers. He's at practices regularly, games regularly, really awesome Lakers analysis and coverage. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. I want to get into one other part of Dan Wojcicki's recent newsletter regarding the Lakers and what it would potentially take to trade Austin Reeves, the standard that would have to be met in a deal, and the internal feelings about Reeves in the building. But before that, get to a few more of your calls. David in Huntington Beach, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, David?
Yeah, so here's the deal. Austin's not our third guy. LeBron and Luka need the ball in our hands. We need role players. We need depth. We're never going to win a championship with him and the pieces we've got. So he's got to go. I don't know for who. I'm going to leave that to Pelinka, but he's not the guy with the way the team is currently constituted. That's what I got for you.
Well, real quick, David, real quick before you go. LeBron is only going to be around for so much longer. If Austin was the second guy post-LeBron with Luka and therefore is, at least in theory, somewhat less duplicative or redundant, however you want to put it, would your opinion there change at all?
It would, because Austin didn't show up in the playoffs.
Okay.
He admitted it himself. I'm just not convinced he's a gamer. He's a scorer, but I don't know that he's a gamer.
I appreciate the call there, David. And it's interesting. I mean, Austin, I think, is a really interesting case with this because I think for the most part he's been pretty good in the playoffs. And I think you can also make an argument that the Minnesota Timberwolves are one of the worst matchups for him because they've got a lot of long, athletic, rangy defenders along the wing. Those are some of the defenders that have at times given Austin the most difficulty. He's had success against them as well, but the idea that you can, if you have enough time to scout against Austin with that type of roster, you can give him problems. I imagine, too, the toe injury that he was dealing with also creates issues as well. But the flip side of it, though, is there's going to be a lot of teams around the league with those type of defenders. Like, the further you get into the playoffs, the less likely it is that you're going to encounter fewer teams that don't have those type of defenders like the Wolves have. Like, certainly if the Lakers manage to get to the conference finals, they'd be up against the Thunder.
Yeah, sometimes it's not the best team on paper. It's always the most healthiest team at this time.
But, like, the Thunder have a bunch of defenders.
Oh,
similar to what the Wolves
A lot of healthy
have.
guys, too.
Right. Like, they got a lot of healthy guys. They've got
a lot of depth.
Got a lot of defenders like that. It's also, though, and this is something I think the Lakers need to be thinking about, this year is the highest by far that Austin has ever been up a scouting report. Like a guy that you are really paying attention. I mean, DeAndre, you played college ball. Like, you know how these scouting reports work. You know how guys are prioritized as you go through this. This is the most focus I think there's ever been on Austin. So the glass half empty look at this would be the most he ever got focused on, the most he ever struggled.
Especially before Luka Doncic got here, obviously they're looking for a guard player, another perimeter guy who can obviously create their own shot, look to be a playmaker, and especially when he took on that point guard role, as far as because his assist ratio went up too, as far as from a year ago. So yeah, the expectations went up a lot higher for Osiriso, which drew a lot more scouting report on him because everything statistically went up for him.
Yeah, Don in the City of Industry, my man with the voice. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Don?
A to the K. How are you doing, buddy?
Better
Everything
now.
cool?
Better now.
Man, they used up most of the baby Lakers I was thinking of, but I always liked Brandon Ingram.
B.I.'s
I don't know
a
what
good player.
Doing.
He's in,
But
he's in
I called him
Toronto.
the Flamingo Kid because he's so long. The way he could extend.
Yeah.
When you thought he went as far as he could go, he'd go further, But But as far as Austin, I'm not in any hurry to trade him. I'd rather just beat the bushes in Estonia and find some rangy rim protecting guy that that Pelinka mentioned the parameters they were looking for. Once LeBron goes, then boom, it's going to be wide open. It will be everybody's up for grabs except Luka probably, and they're really going to reshuffle the deck. But I wouldn't be in a hurry. But hey, I really appreciated last time the Lou Rawls reference. Wow.
You earned it, man.
To be mentioned in the same breath with "You Will Never Find," that guy, man, unbelievable.
My lady,
as long as you live. What a singer! What
Yeah.
a singer!
Unbelievable. Thanks, Don. Appreciate the call. Yeah, Don's got a good voice, man. Don's got a real.
You will never find.
Yeah, if I had that voice, I wouldn't be here with you,
You'll never
jabronis.
My lady love. James, I believe James is on line one. Or, excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me get my guy Mitch first. My man Mitch in New Jersey. Then we'll get to James. What's up, Mitch?
How you doing, Andy?
Good.
And shout out to Lou Rules there because I was thinking about that. This time I remember the name.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Hey, before I get to my 2 centers, and you don't have to give up Reeves, out of all the baby Lakers, I know some of them I think would have been better than Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis was the best.
Yeah.
Jason Hart. He's
Josh
a heck
Hart.
of a
Josh
player.
Hart. Jason Hart's a different guy.
Josh Hart. Even to me, he's like Charles Barkley without the muscle and a few pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, Josh Hart is an outstanding.
Gets
He might be the
rebounds,
best
triple
rebounding
doubles. He
guard
gets-
in the league.
Yeah, he gets quite a few triple doubles.
Yeah. No, he's a really good player.
I think Hardison, the center for Oklahoma,
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein. I believe he's a free agent. And how about Mitchell Robinson?
Mitchell Robinson.
He's a good backup.
Let me take
I
a
like
look.
him. I like his game.
Mitchell Robinson, I would not trade Austin for, if for no other
No,
reason
no,
than
no.
he's hurt a lot.
Austin
But
for these two guys. That's what I was thinking.
let me take a quick look in real time. Mitchell Robinson is under contract for one more season. I'm pretty sure Isaiah Hartenstein is not an impending free agent. I think he's under contract for another 2 years, I think. Let me take a look really quick. Yeah, he is under contract for another 2 years. I do not think the Thunder would – I don't think they're going to trade Hartenstein, period, but I do not think they would trade him for Austin. Mitchell Robinson –
You got to keep Reeves.
Appreciate the call there, Mitch. Mitchell Robinson would fill some needs. The biggest problem with Mitchell Robinson is just has a hard time staying on the court. But he provides some size.
Might as well have Embiid.
Lob target, and, well, he's less expensive. He's like a quarter of the price.
Right.
Fifth of the price. Get you some offensive boards, which the Lakers were missing.
I will say this, though. Defensively, Mitchell Robinson has done a great job for the New York Knicks. Thibodeau did a great job, I must say, as far as late game in the scenario, him switching on defense.
Oh, no. Mitchell Robinson actually has been really good. You know what's funny? For all the talk about going small, centers being obsolete, like everything runs in cycles. Bigs are back. Bigs are back
man.
in the NBA. Like, all of a sudden, size is mattering in ways that even just a few years ago, people were saying was moving away from the NBA. It's all about three-point shooting and speed and spreading the floor. Bigs are back, baby.
I'm just waiting for the members-only jacket to come back and those Malcolm X hacks somehow come back.
You know what? We're starting that process, Funchy, because we've got Knicks Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. Spike versus Reggie. Like, I actually think both of these conference finals are going to be really fun. I think they're really good matchups. They should be a lot of fun. Before we get to Edwin Garcia, JJ in Belmont Shores. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, JJ?
Hey, Andy. Thanks for taking my call, brother. How are you?
Good, good.
Hey, listen, Beto and Funchy both know I've been calling for Steven Adams even before the Luka trade. That animal is the guy we need.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, JJ. Steven Adams is an impending free agent. He played very well for Houston during the playoffs and unless the Lakers can either clear some cap space somehow or, I don't know, maybe LeBron opts out at a discount that nobody's expecting him to take, I don't know if the Lakers are going to be able to get Steven Adams as a free agent with the taxpayer mid-level. It's a little under $6
million. And he played well to kind of he played out of his contract.
He played really well. And, that Houston team, at least for the time being, we'll see if they make any moves this offseason. They're rumored to be players if Giannis becomes available.
They're rumored to be in any deal.
Right. They could use some adults in the room. Like, they're a very young team. Steven Adams is a serious adult in the room. Like, nobody in the league will ever openly disrespect Steven Adams. Like, nobody does that.
And if I'm the Rockets, like, Steven Adams was kind of like I'm using the cap reference, your heart and soul of the team, because he was, man. Like, the style of how Houston is, real physical, that's Steven Adams all day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they entered the playoffs expecting to play Alperen Şengün and Steven Adams as much together as they did. But that ended up a really big part of Houston pushing the Warriors to 7. Like, again, size is back. That is something that we could end up talking about with Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll. He's coming up next. If you're holding, hang in there. We'll get to you after Edwin. Again, Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll. That's coming up next. Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Hey everybody, it's Cap. Is it time to sell your home? Whether you're downsizing, moving, or inheriting a property, call Seller's Advantage. With decades of experience, they offer custom cash solutions and can close in days. No repairs, no agents, no hassle, just a great offer that gives you peace of mind. Call 888-390-AS-IS or visit sellersadvantage.com. Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Flashy discounts, gimmicky sales? Don't fall for it. At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, we give you honest, wholesale pricing all year long.
Hey, it's Travis. Join us Friday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to noon at Legends Attic in Claremont as we celebrate their one-year anniversary and kick off the Freddie Freeman World Series Game 1 Walk-Off Grand Slam Ball Tour. Plus, Oral Hershiser hosting special guests, Dodgers voice Joe Davis, Steve Sachs, Rick Monday, Jaime Harin, Peter O'Malley, and more. Giveaways in the amazing art of Dave Hobrick. Purchase your tickets for meet and greets at legendsattic.com. We'll see you Friday, May 30th at Legends Attic in Claremont.
Hey guys, double down with me in my first ever $10,000 blackjack tournament. It's going to happen on June 6th at the Bicycle Casino. You know it, the Park West Bicycle Casino, 888 Bicycle Casino Drive in Bell Gardens. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a live broadcast from 3 to 6. But when you walk in, I want you to say, double down with Cappy. You go to the Players Reward Desk, and you get your free entry into the tournament, which is going to start at 7 o'clock that night. Remember, it's June 6th. Double down with Cappy is going to get you a free entry into the tournament, which you're going to need to get because I'm telling you, this thing's going to fill up real fast. Live radio, real cards, big prizes, very limited seats. So lock yours in now. RSVP for more information for all the details on the tournament at espnla.com.
Lake Show, right here on Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
When in doubt, assume it is sampled from James Brown. Always a safe bet. James Brown or George Clinton, you are probably hitting your bet. There we have it. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. We are looking to hear from Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll in just actually. He is joining us right now. Some of the best Lakers coverage you're going to find out there. He is a regular at practices and at games for Silver Screen and Roll. Edwin Garcia, how are you, man?
Hi, pleasure to be here. How you been?
Doing well. Just enjoying an off season that began a little bit earlier than I had expected. Even as somebody that was not predicting championship, I did not think, Edwin, that before May 20th I would be vamping, yet here we are.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone said Wolves in 5. I didn't see that prediction being a consensus for most people.
No, I mean, we had for Locked On Lakers, available 5 days a week everywhere you get your podcast, Monday through Friday, always free, never behind a paywall. And for the sickos who like to watch, there's a YouTube component. We had Ben Beacon on from Locked On Wolves as a preview. He even had Lakers winning the series. Like, he did not take the Wolves. Like, I thought the Wolves were going to give the Lakers a really good series, but I thought the Lakers were going to win it. Clearly wrong. With a couple weeks now that the dust has settled since they got bounced, some little more time, a little more distance to reflect, what jumps out at you most, Edwin, in terms of just what went wrong for the Lakers?
I think we collectively underestimated the difficulty of playoff basketball and what that next level looks like. I think that was one of the big factors. I think also remembering that the West was super tight. So I don't look at it like anyone can win. I just look at it as the West is a lot of parity in it. And because of that, I mean, there was one game that separated these two teams. So, yes, it was 3 versus 6, but it really wasn't what you normally think of as 3 versus 6. I think that was another factor. And then, as we look back on the years, you kind of see who the pretenders and the contenders are. And the Wolves have proven by beating the Lakers, proven by beating the Warriors, and what they did last year, they're contenders. They have Anthony Edwards. They have a top 5 player. They have size. They have experience. They haven't gone all the way, but every season they're a tough out, and they're not exiting immediately. So I think one thing we've all should realize from this is Minnesota, we didn't give them enough respect, and they have now the pedigree. We'll see. They might even have a title at the end of this. So I think people are realizing, just like the Nuggets when they started climbing, now the Nuggets are always a formidable team. The Wolves are in that category as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, one of the things that jumped out at me when I was thinking about just the way the series concluded and things that I didn't predict correctly, the lack of time that this group had together post Luka trade deadline, not just because they completely reassembled the team in February, but because Luka missed some time, LeBron missed some time, Rui missed some time, Jackson Hayes missed a bit of time. Like, they didn't get the reps together that you normally would want them to have, particularly from a mid-season deal. And particularly in crunch time, I thought that really showed through fourth quarters. How much do you think that just the idea of, let's say this team, not running it back, but let's say there's a lot of the same guys. How much do you think can be cured just through reps and just through familiarity?
I think it would be tremendous. I think, like you said, we didn't have a whole season of everything feels like a small sample size because just the star player was, brought to the team, in February. So, we didn't get enough time to see different actions they could develop for Luka. We didn't get to see Luka playing a lot with a guy like Dalton Connect, who exploded early in the season and kind of, fizzled out as the year went on. We didn't get to see JJ experiment with some other lineups, which is, I think, why he ended up just trusting a few guys. He didn't have the luxury of, we had 82 games and a full training camp and preseason to kind of tinker with things and try things out. the team looked very different, even from the start of the year to before that trade, and you started to see, other players come and go and get involved, and Luka wasn't a part of any of that. So we didn't get to experiment with a lot of that stuff. So I think, yes, of course, the team's going to go through massive changes, and it has to, but even just literally getting back Luka Doncic and having 82 games in a training camp to kind of work things out, that's going to do wonders for this team.
Talking with Edwin Garcia, covers the Lakers for Silver Screen and Roll. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, ESPN LA 710. You just mentioned J.J. Redick and the players that he began not to trust down the line. And honestly, I think one of the lessons J.J. will need to learn from the playoff experience is just the idea of, at the very least, not distrusting so loudly, like in ways that become so obvious and I think can affect the team, but also that you're going to have to take some leaps of faith just because you can't run a 5-man rotation and win a series. But that's just me. What do you think are some of the things that JJ either will or should learn the most from this first season as a head coach?
I think the classic line is a marathon, which people hate. I think don't use that as a reason to diminish every game, but use that as understanding how long the journey truly is. And I think that there was more opportunities to give other players looks and reps, and that ended up hurting them to start the playoffs because you didn't feel like you could trust them. And it's also unfair to ask a player, hey, you sat for like 3 weeks, coming to the most important moments, just like Maxi Kleber did, right? Like that was kind of an overreaction as well.
That
like,
was galaxy brain, man. I got to be honest. That was straight up galaxy brain.
Even Hayes, as bad as he's been, he couldn't have played better than Kleber in those moments. Like, it's things like that. I think that we're learning experiences, and I don't want to be too hard on Redick. I understand. I expected actually it was kind of like reverse the way the story was told because he was so impressive in the beginning that you were shocked by the errors at the end. When I was actually expecting those kind of errors during the regular season, and I didn't get them. Right? Like he did a great job with the rotations. I think he made his decisions a little slower than I'd like, but faster than other coaches. Great with the challenges, top 5 in the league, I believe, in the challenges that they took and winning those. But in the end, like you said, just too much trust in select guys, and like you said, it was very loud, the players that weren't in the rotation, and it didn't work because players got gassed, players got tired, and there wasn't, you saw the Nuggets do it, right? They went to different lineups. You saw the Warriors switch up their lineups a lot, even with Steph out. They experimented with things, and we didn't get the moments like, remember the Lonnie Walker game? Yeah. That would be impossible under J.J. Redick. Yeah. Because he was never going to give a guy like that an opportunity.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, too, Ed, when we're talking with Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll, covers the Lakers, Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN. You can follow, by the way, Edwin on Twitter at ecreates88. I think J.J. Redick had a very good rookie season as a head coach. And, I feel good about him moving forward. I even with the mistakes that I think were made during the playoffs, a lot of which I think have to do with kind of controlling his own emotions and not allowing himself to get too caught up emotionally with his competitiveness, with that fieriness in ways that affects his decisions. Like when you were talking about, how the way Jackson played or, giving him a little bit longer of a leash or the Lonnie Walker game that never happened. It's one thing to lose trust in your starting center. It's another thing to lose trust in a few of your bench guys. It's another thing to not be willing to give, say, Dalton Knecht a shot when the offense is really stagnant. All three of those things, I think, can be defended in a vacuum. But when they're all happening at once, I just look at it and say, you're cutting off all your options. At some point, you have to be willing to take an option that you don't like simply because you need an option.
Yeah, I feel like other coaches, and I've seen this too, that's also when I know a series is going bad, when I'm like, oh, this is the coach's third or fourth option and they're going to it, we're in trouble. But then went to it, And I feel like we didn't even see that. I would have loved to have seen a sideline out of bounds play and then Dalton Knecht starting on the opposite side. He gets a screen and we shoot for a corner three. Let's just try it. If it fails, okay. We at least tried something else. It didn't work. I saw the Lakers roll out Tristan Thompson, in the final hour trying to do something, and he played well. You never know. And I think we were stuck in they lost in 5 games. But again, those games were close. One game you were up by double digits. in the fourth quarter? What would a couple Gabe Vincent threes have done? What would a Vando steal to make it 14 points would have done? Like, those little things could have maybe made a difference, or at least made it a much deeper, series than what it was. So again, it's recency bias, and again, the playoffs, that's what it's all about. So I understand everyone's going to point to it, because that is the point. Winning those last 16 games matters more than the other 82. But like you said, overall, he did a good job. These are learning experiences. Coaches learn too. Coaches learn, players learn, we learn. Like, it's all part of the process. And I hope that when you reflect on it, he thinks about some of those things, and when those opportunities come next year, there'll be a different outcome.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that he will do better. Talking with Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll, covers the Lakers. Follow him on Twitter, ecreates88. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. What do you make of the recent increasingly loud chatter about the potential of moving Austin Reeves and like the reported bar that needs to be met to actually include him in a trade? Do you think the Lakers are potentially overvaluing Reeves, or do you think they're actually properly valuing him?
I think every team that drafts or selects an undrafted player and it's homegrown, I think they always overvalue. It doesn't matter if we're talking Reeves or we're talking Pods, insert darling from a local market. So they probably are overrating him just a hair, but I don't think it's by a ridiculous number. As we found out in the AD Luka trade, everyone's tradable. So unless you're Bradley Beal, because you have to agree to it. So mine is that.
Or LeBron, for that matter.
Or LeBron, yeah, he's got a no trade clause as well. Or at least, we'll see what he does coming up. But yes, those are the only two players. Everyone else, you can get moved for anyone, because unless you are the undeniable number one player on the world, there is probably someone better than you. And even if the trade is unlikely, there is a scenario where you would do it. And that's what happened with Luka and AD. And Austin is in the same breath, right? There's an X amount of players that are better, X amount of players that fit the system, and the equation is a tricky one because of his contract, because of his quality, right? He had a really bad series, he did, but I've also seen him do amazing things in the playoffs. I saw him do amazing things this season. He had a overall great year.
Yes, he
if you
did.
Look at all the numbers, everything's up.
Yeah, he did.
It's just the ending soured people, and I get it. And it's a tough question to ask. Is he good enough, and will he grow enough to help this team win a title? That's the goal, right? Is he at that level, or do you need other help? And can you keep him, and what other help do you need? Can you make that puzzle work? That's the tricky part.
That actually leads exactly what I was going to ask you next, Edwin. Talking with Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll, covers the Lakers. Do you think the Lakers can make significant moves without including Austin Reeves in a deal? I guess to some degree it depends on your definition of significant, but is it possible to do that while still keeping Reeves?
I think it's possible. Again, you have to start playing, open up the trade machine and work it out. But there are other players, who have contracts that are like that. It depends what Dorian decides to do. That could be a movable contract. Rui's another contract that gives you some money. It's tricky when your top guys are players you probably don't want to move, like Luka and LeBron, obviously. So you are limited, but the market's always changing and shifting, and a team that you might have never thought is going to sell is all of a sudden selling. I'm very curious to see what Boston does. They have a big salary cap bill coming up. Tatum, unfortunately, is out for a year. They might be a team that's willing to kind of part with players. And the Lakers, they got a center and then rescinded the trade, but they found a way with Dalton and a first-round picks are a hot commodity. I think first-round picks are kind of going to be even higher with this new CBA, because that's a quality draft pick. Fans like the pick. And also that's going to be a player you're acquiring that has a tremendous upside and is on a team-friendly contract because it's on a rookie pay scale. So I think those kind of things are still intriguing. So I think they can make the moves. They're not as far as it feels. They were number 3 in the West. They won 50 games, and that was while doing all of these things. You don't have to twist my arm too much for a trade or two to get them to 60 wins, number 1, number 2 in the West. And then with that experience we talked about, that puts them in contention for a title. They're not that far away.
All right, well, I'm talking with Edwin Garcia, Silver Screen and Roll, covers the Lakers. Follow him on Twitter, @ecreates88. What are the areas that you think most need addressing for this team, whether we're talking about position, skill set, attributes, stuff like that?
Center, obviously. They need centers like we need water every morning. They need as many centers as they can get. I think the quote Rob gave was "no stone unturned."
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to looking for centers. So what does that mean? That means using your two-way guys. That means even with only 1 second-round draft pick, searching for a center there, going overseas, searching for a center there, trade market, free agency, buyout market when we get to that point of the season. They have to look for, if you're a decent size, can play the 5, can roll to the rim and also defend the rim, they need to be as creative and open-minded as possible on getting as many flyers as they can in that department. It's been a department AD's been complaining about his entire tenure, it feels like, and he only got it one time and they won a title that year. And now that he's gone, they need it more than ever. And with Luka also liking that kind of player, there's still the stars keep asking for centers, and I think this is the summer where the Lakers have to finally get it.
And last question for you, Edwin. Talking with Edwin Garcia, covers the Lakers for Silver Screen and Roll. Who are some of the centers that you would like to see them target, whether somewhere between realistic names or maybe a little bit pie in the sky?
Yeah, so from some of the free agent ones, obviously there's big names which might not happen, like Reaves, Miles Turner, Brook Lopez. I think something more reasonable, Clint Capella, Luke Cornett, Al Horford might be a big you can get. And then trade-wise, I think you mentioned Mitchell Robinson earlier. I like him, Nick Claxton, Daniel Gafford. So it doesn't have to be a home run. I know people want to talk about Giannis and things like that, and you never know, but you just need to make improvements in the margins. Redick felt like he had 0 sensors he could play at all in the playoffs. So if you can just get a couple guys that you feel good with and you can roll with, and we saw, again, Jackson Hayes looked pretty good for large portions of the NBA season. I think if you give me someone who's a little bit more of a 10 and 12 guy, a double-double on the low end, and you add him with Luka Doncic, he's shown that he can really make a center shine if given the opportunity. So if you give me someone like that, I think he can really make some noise and really feel comfortable in that with that starting lineup and having a little bit more depth there. And also they have a few in-house, right? The two-way guys, they got Koloko. So interested to see if he can start developing a little bit. Trey Jamison's there. He's a little bit more limited, I think, but that could also be an option in the two-way market. And then seeing what happens in the draft, that's going to be something that I think they should take a flyer on whoever they think could maybe become an NBA center.
He is Edwin Garcia. You can read his Lakers coverage on Silver Screen and Roll. Follow him on Twitter at @eCreates88. Great Lakers coverage. Appreciate the time, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up, we can take more of your calls, 877-710-ESPN, if you want to react to anything Edwin said, anything to the center talk we were having, the trade Austin Reeves question we were having. Also want to get a little bit into the Giannis of it all. Edwin mentioned Giannis, and he and the Bucks are having a meeting coming up that, in a weird way, I think could be very beneficial for the Lakers, but not in the way you're probably thinking. I'll explain why coming up next, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, double down with me in my first ever $10,000 blackjack tournament. It's going to happen on June 6th at the Bicycle Casino. You know it, the Park West Bicycle Casino, 888 Bicycle Casino Drive in Bell Gardens. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a live broadcast from 3 to 6. But when you walk in, I want you to say, double down with Cappy. You go to the Players Reward Desk, and you get your free entry into the tournament, which is going to start at 7 o'clock that night. Remember, it's June 6th. Double down with Cappy is going to get you a free entry into the tournament, which you're going to need to get because I'm telling you, this thing's going to fill up real fast. Live radio, real cards, big prizes, very limited seats. So lock yours in now. RSVP for more information for all the details on the tournament at ESPNLA.com.
On fire tonight, for real. The LA Afternoon Takeover. That's Sedano and Cap.
On 710 ESPN.
Are you looking for a trusted roofing expert in Southern California? Journey Builders has you covered. This is Mike Trudell from ESPN LA. Journey Builders specializes in quality roof replacements for homes around the Southland. They'll ensure that your roof stands strong. ESPN LA listeners who call in today to book their free same-day inspection get $5,500 off their roof replacement. Journey Builders also offers financing. Call 888-607-8808 today. That's 888-607-8808. Or go to journeybuildersinc.com.
Hey guys, have you checked out the all-new Park West Bicycle Casino? With a new owner, fresh renovations, and upgraded amenities, it's a whole new way to experience LA's premier table game casino. From poker, blackjack, ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Baccarat, they've got all the action for ESPN LA listeners. Brand new players who sign up for their Players Reward get $30 in match play. Just say, Cappy sent me to get $30 in match play. Park West Bicycle Casino.
Please gamble responsibly. Problemgambling.ca.gov. 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGR-001291. GAR-001292. GAR-001298. BSIS license number 1358.
Hey guys, it's Sedano here. My friends at Children's Dental Fun Zone is the one-stop shop specializing in children's dentistry and orthodontics for over 23 years. From routine care, braces, and aligners to orthodontic planning, Children's Dental Fun Zone accepts Medi-Cal, PPO, and HMO insurance plans. For a free consultation, visit their website, cdfzone.com, or call them at 833-586-7898. And let them know that Sedano and ESPN LA sent you. Children's Dental Fun Zone. Sparkling smiles, happy kids.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky on 710 ESPN. It's the home of the Lake Show and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Back to Andy Kamenetsky.
Shout out Mike Trudell, who was here earlier.
With the Tribe shirt.
He did have the Tribe shirt. And again, shout out to Mike Trudell for giving me his extra Tribe Called Quest shirt, little Benita Applebaum in his honor. Thanks again to Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll. 877-710-ESPN if you want to weigh in on anything Edwin said, weigh in on more of the center talk that we're having, talk about Austin Reeves. We'll get back to Austin in a second, but one thing I did want to get into that I think is interesting, Chris Haynes reported last week that Giannis and the Bucks are going to meet sometime this week to talk about Giannis's future with the Bucks. It has been reported by Shams Charania and also Howard Beck from The Ringer that Giannis, for I don't want to say the first time because this has come up before, but it seems like the most forceful time ever, is really considering the idea of moving on from Milwaukee. I don't think there's any animosity, hard feelings. There's no way he can reasonably say that Milwaukee has not done their best to try to build around him. Like, part of the reason that they are stuck is because they have used up basically all of their assets trying to keep building continually around Giannis. The Dame Lillard trade has not worked out well at all. Dame is a long way from returning. And there is, I think, a reasonable chance that Giannis could just say, I appreciate everything. I want to win another championship. I don't think it's going to happen here. What I think, though, is interesting about this for the Lakers is not this meeting happening, Giannis asking out, and all of a sudden the Lakers are in the mix. I would be stunned, to be honest, if that happened. Never say never. If you had asked me in January of 2025, do I think Luka Doncic is going to be a Laker, I would have said, what the F are you talking about? Like, that's a stupid question. And here we are, Luka Doncic is a Laker. So never say never, but that being said, I would be very, very surprised if, A, the Lakers could get together a package that could best the rest of the league if Giannis really becomes available. And I seriously doubt this will be one of those things where, like with Nico Harrison, he's only talking with a couple teams. It's super secretive. If you're moving Giannis and you're Milwaukee, a small market team, like you need to put this out to the rest of the league. Like you have to be trying to get yourself the best package. And I don't think the Lakers can put it out there. They do not have enough immediate control of their draft capital that Milwaukee would need to start rebuilding right away. Austin Reeves, to be honest, I think is too old for them right now. He's 27.
And that's not going to get you just Giannis.
Right. Austin's not good enough to be the centerpiece of a Giannis trade, period. But even that part of it aside, he's, I think, too old for if Milwaukee wants to do a full rebuild. Austin's 27. Like, unless they can put that thing together on the fly where Austin all of a sudden is like the third best player on the Bucks, he's too old for what they would want to do. Dalton Connect, I think, has nice potential, but he's not good enough to be centerpiece of a Giannis deal. And the Lakers' expirings are worthless to the Bucks because they don't need a clear cap space. The only reason they would really need cap space is to put pieces around Giannis. So, and even if Giannis signaled, I want to be a Laker, that is my first choice, I don't think that matters. Giannis is under contract for 2 more seasons. Like, if I'm another team around the league and I think I'm a Giannis away from winning a championship, I don't care if he is saying he wants to go somewhere else. I make the deal anyway. I get 2 of Giannis's best prime years, maybe a third if he opts into the final year of his deal. And then if he leaves and I get a championship out of it or a legitimate shot at a championship, I can live with it.
But who's the team out there that is going to do that?
I think Houston could definitely be in the market. I think San Antonio could be in the market. Who knows if say OKC gets
That's
back.
what I was going to say. If OKC somehow loses this conference finals or loses in the finals, I think they should just go all in for Giannis.
I think they very well could.
Sometimes you don't need to do any changes like that, though. Sometimes you just got to keep the same team to keep it consistent.
That's true, but I think OKC could use a Giannis.
Absolutely. I think Orlando could maybe be a possibility.
Yes.
Like they've got some young players and draft picks that they could put in there.
And I keep on seeing the odds, for where Giannis is going next or whatever, and I keep on seeing Brooklyn. I don't know how that gets why Brooklyn's in the mix.
I would find that unless Brooklyn is going to try to do KD, Harden, Kyrie Part 2 and basically just assemble Voltron this offseason, I would be surprised. But here's why I think Giannis and the Bucks meeting quickly matters for the Lakers. I am guessing that I'm not even guessing, I think it's obvious. If Giannis is going to leave the Bucks, if he's going to ask out, it is in Milwaukee's best interest that they figure this out ASAP. So they can try to figure out where Giannis is going to go before this draft. So if, say, they are trading him with Houston or with San Antonio in the number 2 pick, that those teams are either picking for Milwaukee or Milwaukee makes the deal before then and they have full control of their picks. However you want to do this, you want to have it be as close to the draft as possible, as close to right now as possible, so you have as much time leading up to next season to start the rebuild that you want. And again, especially up against a draft class that's supposed to be pretty good, it is in Milwaukee's best interest to get this done quickly. It's also in the Lakers' best interest because the Lakers need to make moves this offseason. And if this Giannis thing drags out throughout the entire offseason, there's a very good chance that the rest of free agency drags on because you're going to see a bunch of teams around the league not doing anything, either because they think they can get in the Giannis business or they think they can be a facilitator in the Giannis business, like a third team, something like that. There could be a lot of business coming to a halt if this thing with Giannis stretches into July, August, September. Like it turns into what happened with Dame Lillard and Portland, where he didn't get moved till Milwaukee until like a couple weeks before the season began. It helps the Lakers if this deal actually happens with Giannis soon, whether it involves the Lakers or not. It is helpful for them if there's resolution to this quickly. that looks like it could be the case. That's good for the Lakers. Take a couple calls before we get to crunch time. Thomas in Chicago. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I want to bring up a suggestion that I don't think anyone's talked about. The Knicks have Mitchell Robinson and Cat. The Timberwolves have Naz Reid and they have Gobert. Thunder have Hartenstein and they have Chet.
Mm-hmm.
Teams with more than one big. You saw with the Clippers, they got smoked because Zubac, if he's in foul trouble, they were screwed. And I think a name that I don't think is mentioned. What about Steven Adams?
Steven Adams has come. He has come up, Thomas. He's an impending free agent. I don't know if the Lakers are going to necessarily be able to afford him.
Really?
Unless they can get him with a mini like a taxpayer mid-level, the Lakers won't have the cap space.
Oh, okay. I thought like, damn, because you saw him with Sengun.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Like that was. I was like, the Rockets just keep doing it's like that and Cat.
Yeah.
Where it's like the Knicks just give Cat the ball, stop shooting threes, get on the block, and with the Rockets just play more big man. And you see the Knicks. I believe Mitchell Robinson is plus 24. He's averaging less than 10 points and with a bunch of rebounds.
No, he's been really good, Thomas. Appreciate the call. Like I said before, bigs are back, baby.
He's really bad at the line, though.
He is really he makes Shaq look like Steve Nash.
Exactly.
And
Ben Wallace looked like Ray Allen.
He is terrible at the line. John in Moore Park, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, John?
Yeah, hey, how about Jarrett Allen for Austin Reeves?
He's come up and he was on the list of the guys that we would at minimum consider. And who knows if Cleveland will look to potentially break things up. I mean, I think they're more inclined to probably say injuries are what bit us in the ass. We were a really good team in the regular season. That being said, the question of whether Cleveland would do that for Austin, I think, is more of an open, not sure about that. Combining, I don't know where you play Austin with Donovan Mitchell, with Darius Garland, unless you're also moving Garland to another team or to the bench. I mean, you're certainly not going to play any of those guys at the 3.
What if Austin Reeves and Gabe Vincent for Jared Allen, and you get no picks at all, no picks involved, nothing for the future, no nothing. You just got these 2 salaries versus that 1 salary, and I think it gets it done.
I would heavily consider it. Again, I don't know if Cleveland's doing that, but we're self-absorbed in this part of town. We're only thinking about ourselves.
Of course. I'm only thinking about me.
I would very heavily consider that. Again, I don't think Cleveland says yes, DeAndre, but
nah, they'll say yes.
I mean, unfortunately,
here's what Cleveland thinks. It's all about us.
They get a vote, unfortunately, and that is also part of the issue with Dan Wojcicki's report for the LA Times that the Lakers would be looking for a foundational center if they were to move Austin. There's only a handful of those guys that could theoretically be available, and that's before you even get into the question of would they trade that guy for Austin. So it just keeps that question alive of exactly what can the Lakers do with Austin were they to trade him. Are they setting the standard correctly if they're going to move Austin? Are they better off just keeping Austin? Austin is a really good player, but all of this is why this offseason is going to be incredibly compelling to watch for the Lakers. As always, we will close out the show with a little crunch time. Funchy's got the topics. DeAndre and I have the reactions. That is coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Travis Rogers and DeMarco Farr.
Back tomorrow at 9 a.m. after Clinton and Friends.
I understand he's a song and dance man.
I get soundtrack of my life, he's got a few in there.
Does he?
Oh, yeah, he's got a few.
That's what we'll do today. We'll just play...
No, we don't need to do that.
JT.
No. We don't need to do that. No.
Yeah, I don't like JT for a myriad of reasons. Oh, you guys are talking about JT, not Timberland.
Justin Timberlake is JT.
Yeah,
You're talking about Timberland. You're talking Timberland.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the other... Timberland is still doing his thing.
The shoes?
No, Timberland Timberland's a producer.
Timberland.
Yeah, Timberland is a
Even I
producer.
know that.
Timberland is from Virginia.
Yeah.
Even I know that.
Yeah. Not JT Timberland. Wow. Okay.
I suck at this game.
Two-pack?
Yeah. Jodecki.
Who's that Snoopy dog?
Jodecki was not on purpose. Timberland was.
Mrs. Elliott.
God.
Yeah, Mrs. Elliott.
Crazy.
Florida.
Oh. Yeah.
Weekday mornings at 9 a.m.
It's Travis and DeMarco
on 710 ESPN.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mace. LA, it's time to get real. Jacob and Ronnie is the real deal. Injured? Unsure of who to trust? Call Jacob. He's recovered hundreds of thousands of dollars where other attorneys might settle immediately for pennies. Get a partner who's committed to turning your setback into a comeback. Call 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Or remember, call Jacob.com. Jacob is the real deal.
Call Jacob.
USC football is more than a game. It's tradition, pride, and unforgettable Saturdays in the Coliseum. Be there for every kickoff, every touchdown, and every unforgettable moment this season. Secure your football season tickets today and lock in the best seats, exclusive fan benefits, and memories that last a lifetime. Don't miss out. We need you in the stands. Visit USCTrojans.com or call 213-740-GO-SC.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. In the market for new flooring? Why pay more at big box stores? At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, every day is a deal, no gimmicks. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them online at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No
hey, it's
sale.
Travis. Join us Friday, May 30th from 9 a.m. to noon at Legends Attic in Claremont as we celebrate their one-year anniversary and kick off the Freddie Freeman World Series Game 1 Walk-Off Grand Slam Ball Tour. Plus, Oral Hershiser hosting special guests, Dodgers voice Joe Davis, Steve Sachs, Rick Monday, Jaime Harin, Peter O'Malley, and more. Giveaways in the amazing art of Dave Hobrick. Purchase your tickets for meet and greets at legendsattic.com. We'll see you Friday, May 30th at Legends Attic in Claremont.
Then we invite Cappy to do hits and BP and some grounders.
Wait, you guys are going to have a joint practice, so you need me to bring weed?
No, wait, time out.
Sedano and Cap
weekdays at 3 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
It's crunch time on Lakers Talk.
When the clock is ticking and it's all coming down to the wire, you know what that means.
This is crunch time.
All right, as always, we close out with Crunch Time. Funchy's got some topics. DeAndre and I are going to weigh in. What you got there, Funchy?
We saw the last two NBA championships. Champions get eliminated in the last week. We saw the Celtics with their bad loss to the Knicks, and then also the Nuggets yesterday, losing Game 7. We'll start with the Celtics. What do you think is going to happen in their offseason, Andy?
I am really intrigued by what they're going to do because you have to assume that Jason Tatum is going to miss somewhere between most of or all
He's
of
not
next
coming back
year.
to at least March.
Right. And it's probably going to take until the 26-27 season
So they
to
should
really
just tank
look
it.
like Jason
They should just
Tatum.
tank the season.
What they do, though, with some of these long contracts like Derek White, Drew Holiday, even Jaylen Brown, like if they were looking to potentially reset anything, because before Tatum even got hurt, there had been questions about they have a massive payroll. I heard last week Bill Simmons say their starting five alone was $188 million.
And Go ahead, Danny.
And like the luxury tax money is going to be insane, and the team's being sold. And very often when you get new ownership, they look to change that stuff around. So it's going to be I think there could be a lot of guys in that team in play.
Bill Simmons had an idea today on his podcast. A trade between Boston and Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Boston would receive Fred VanVleet. They would also get Jabari Smith Jr. and Tari Easton, also the 10th pick in this year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
And Houston would get back Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday. Now, what do you guys think about that? I think it works out for both teams.
If Houston can't get into the Giannis sweepstakes,
this might be the second best thing that's good for them.
I mean, they're looking, DeAndre, to take a next step forward. They need veterans. They need established players, experience. Like, It's going to be tricky once you have to start paying. I don't know what Şengün's on right now, his salary, but once you eventually
he's going to have to
pay
break the bank, man.
Amen Thompson,
He's breaking the bank, man.
They're going to be expensive.
Those guys are breaking the bank.
They're going to be expensive, but Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday are good players. Holiday's old, though. Holiday is what might make me say no on that, and I love Drew Holiday.
And then we look at the Boston Celtics side, what would Van Vliet do in that time?
I think
with
he just
Jason
found
Tatum, with Jason Tatum gone.
Van Vliet, if I had to guess, I'm not looking at it. If I'm guessing, he's an expiring.
I'm guessing he has like 2 years left or something
like that.
Yeah.
But you're getting off a lot of money if you're Boston. Van Vliet balances the money. It's really about getting a look at Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason in that 10 pick.
Both two excellent guys, especially what they do as a role. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
That'd be interesting. That would be very interesting. Good suggestion by Bill Simmons.
All right, guys, what happens with the Denver Nuggets? They have a lot of questions. I was just talking to you about Jamal Murray in a break. I'm like, he played so bad in the playoffs. We don't expect him to play bad in the playoffs. That's
I know.
You know,
I don't know what happens with them because putting aside like what do you do with the roster. I don't know who their GM is going to be.
Who the coach is?
We don't know for sure if it's going to be David Adelman or someone else. Like
I think he should.
I would like to think that he got hired. There'd always been talk about Michael Porter Jr. as being the main trade piece, but he's coming off that shoulder injury
and they need
in the
depth.
playoffs.
They've been playing like 7 guys for like 3 months.
They need to add if you're going to trade, say Michael Porter Jr., you might need to trade him for just 2 lesser players,
just
but
to get some
increase
depth, right?
Like. Shout out to Aaron Gordon, by the way, too. That
oh, my
dude,
God. He's like my new favorite player.
Was great during the playoffs for them. He was their most consistent player.
Yes, and I did see Lakers Twitter saying that, Aaron Gordon did have more rebounds than Jackson Hayes in the entire series than, yesterday.
Look, Jackson Hayes only played like 25 minutes in the entire series. I bet per 36, Jackson Hayes averaged more rebounds.
I don't know. I don't even know about that one, if I'm being honest with you.
I do know. I looked it up the other day. I'm cheating. I actually did. I know.
Man, I don't know. Don't get started on Jackson Hayes. But as far as the Denver Nuggets, I think they're going to find some pieces that they can add. Someone that they need, especially on the wing. They miss those guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and a guy
Christian
like Bruce
Brown's
Brown.
a star, man.
Christian Brown, I saw Bobby Marks said that he's going to be paid. He's going to be due $30 million. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, Denver Nuggets got some work to do.
Yeah, everyone thought that the 2 next juggernauts were going to be Denver and Boston maybe battling back and forth. Your window can shut or at least lower very quickly.
In one night, too.
One play. Yes, with Boston. Even as a Laker fan, I can't even really have fun with Celtics getting eliminated the way they did just because I know how much of that has to do with Jason Tatum, and that just sucks. That really sucks. He's a great player, seems like a good dude. Leaves a bad taste. Thank you again to Claire DeLoon from The Guardian and Edwin Garcia from Silver Screen and Roll for dropping by. Thanks, as always, to Funchy and DeAndre. Next week, I think we are off as a show because of Memorial Day, but we